morning, everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. We got some new people in the house today. We got James and Brian. You've seen them on our Wednesday show that is somewhat professional. And of course, we got Philly back in the house. So we got to talk about, what happened in Dallas?
A lot of penalties and a lot of poor play calling. It's, I could say that it starts with the offensive line. When we had, Lane Johnson go down, and he's looked at as one of the best in the league. You have the best in the league, and then there's everybody else below him. And we'll say that's a start. I mean, you got Dickerson that's a little nicked up. Just our offensive line is beat up, and it's beat up more than what it's been in the past. And I think that it starts there, and then you have the mistakes. Like, listen, there's no chance that we should have lost that game. There's no reason why we should have lost that game. When you're up 21-0, you cannot lose that game. They found a way to do so. And it was, just mistake after mistake. And then the injuries started to happen. It's just, losing Blankenship really cost them. At least on that one major pass, like the one that got him to the 42-yard field goal. Not actually. I was more concerned that they wouldn't have stopped that. They would have stopped him there, and he would have won it on a 70-yard field goal, which would have been a little bit more heartbreaking, I think, just to watch it. Yeah, because he could definitely do it there too. Like, it's no doubt in my mind. That all being said, you just can't make the mistakes that you made. 14 penalties for 90-some yards is ridiculous. However, it's part of their MO lately. They have been just causing, somewhere between 8 and 9, 10 penalties a game, and you can't do that. That is a loss of that's bad focus, and that is a coaching issue. And I understand holding penalties. Because, again, especially Dallas was using 5-man fronts. It's funny because they were kind of it's not a real 5-man front. It's more like a play on the 4-6 defense back in the day. But they actually send 5 rushers in, and the Eagles had no answer to that. They just didn't. They needed to do a lot more big sets. When you have 5 guys on the line, once you get to the second tier, you're going to gain yardage, and that's what happened. They had a couple of runs that went somewhere, because once you get past that first wave, you're going to get some space because half the guys are on the defense or on the line. They didn't do it, and they couldn't figure out how to do it, and that's bothered me.
Well, I like to add something to that. It really can't be the situation that was going on before that was in the news. The issue between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, not the communication, not being there, the chemistry not being there. Because he gave him like 5. I mean, he threw 6 targets in the beginning. I think he had like 5 receptions for X amount of yards and a touchdown. So that wasn't the problem. They, like you said, they found ways to just give the game away, because and by all intents and purposes, the Eagles being up 21-0, you blow a game if you're losing the game 20. You don't score any more points after 21. And like you said, those penalties, that's just that really hurt. They found, that has to be a coaching issue. You got to look at Sirianni, like, what's going on, because this team is talented.
One of the longest penalties that they had, that was a weird call in general, but. All right, see, it's like, okay, you got beat off of that one. You know what I mean? The referees made the wrong call. It should have been offensive pass interference. You had CeeDee Lamb put his hand in his face and literally push him back, and they called defensive pass interference. We'll call the ref being in the wrong spot. Okay, that happens sometimes. That one call wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, and ultimately, it's. Like it's just I felt that it was definitely a home team referee crew. But I don't blame referees. You know what I mean? There were so many ways we could have won that game and didn't. And whether it was Jalen Hurts overthrowing, which he did a couple more times,
Mhm.
you know, there wasn't many drops, so I can't blame drops this time. But I can bad play calling. And when you are choosing not to run the ball, and there were plenty of times where, like, you know, I'm not sure what's 100% going on with Saquon, but I feel like that there were a couple of plays he missed the hole. There was a hole there, and he missed it, and that makes me scratch my head a little bit. Like, what's going on mentally? That's a focus. That's a focus situation. And why are they unfocused? Why is this going on like this? Why is it that after 21 points, we can't put together 7 plays in a row?
Well, the Saquon part of it is easy. He's on the cover of Madden.
Well, it's funny that you say it like that, but the other way about it is that he's also in a lot of commercials.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's one thing. The guy's got to make his money, and I get it. But there is a level of preparedness that he has gone through in previous years that he did not go through this year because he was busy. And that becomes a lot more problematic. Do I think it's going to turn around? Yes, because I think that it just takes the time. And ultimately,
you got to feel good about the fact that you guys have played poorly and are where you are, right?
Correct.
I mean, it'd be one thing if you've been playing your best ball, but you guys haven't played your best football yet. Like when you look at the roster, you look at the talent, why we keep asking what's wrong with this team is because you should look so much better than you do. And despite that, you're winning. And the Niners, conversely, they keep winning. And you look at the roster and you're like, how are they winning? Like everybody's hurt.
Well, at some point, it be all right. And I'll tell you the difference between the two. Coaching, I feel like that the coaching is winning games for the 49ers.
No question.
And I feel like that the talent is winning games for the Eagles. And that's I think a real statement that as bad as they've played just shows how good they are. And ultimately, they're going to have to start to make a turn here. Now, I know that everybody's talking about Kevin Petrullo, and trust me, it was tough to watch that he wasn't, just a bad play call after bad play call. You going these 3 and outs and not wasting any time off the clock. You got to play a longer game when you have that type of lead, which means that you're taking the clock down, that you got to have that clock running, which means that incomplete passes are no bueno. So, and I'm not a big fan of these bubble screens. First off, everybody sees them, and our guys aren't good enough to break that first tackle. It's like AJ Brown maybe could shed it. Devontae Smith, I think, is too small. So you're not going to be, those aren't going to be what gains you yards. Again, the defensive secondary of Dallas was one of their weak points. We exploited it and got the one pass. They tried to do it again, and then they didn't really go back to it very much. And then you could tell when you saw that they were lining up to go to try to do one of those types of plays that required longer time for everybody to get to where they needed to be, that Dallas brought in a 5th or 6th rusher, and blitzed. So they were telegraphing their plays. And I think that you put A, B, C, D, and E together, and of course that all equals loss.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all the teams. I mean, all the teams that are up there in Super Bowl contention are not playing up to their potentials. I'm the Eagles, the Lions, Seattle. You can even say in some certain instances, and I mean it's just that way right now. I think we're going to see the cream rise up to the top in the last 4 or 5 games, though. I think that's where it's going to come. And thank you that you guys. Thank you, you guys lost. Not because you guys lost, but because of the fact that now you guys are pissed, and now you get Chicago at home. So kill Chicago.
Yeah.
I have to agree with all four. I mean, excuse me, what you guys saying, but particularly what Brian said, that cream rises to the top, and eventually the teams that want to win, that are there, are going to come up and show that, like, okay, we're here. Particularly the Rams, the 49ers. Again, at some point, like you said, you're wondering how they're winning in spite of all their talent. At some point, that's going to show itself. Mainly in the playoffs, probably. You can't have a defense, you have a really good defense, but if you don't have the horses on the field, man, it's going to be tough. At some point, some team's going to run on you, and it might be a team like Philadelphia. If Saquon can get out of his own way with the commercials or whatever, and they run the ball more, they I don't know, they're not giving him enough carries. I think Pags. I think he needs way more carries than he's getting.
The fact that they only gave it to him 10 times is ridiculous.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that shows that they got away. They wanted to try to exploit the pass, and shows that they weren't paying attention to the fact that the holes were there. Like I said, there were 2 plays specifically. I saw the hole there, and he didn't go and hit it. And I'm like, why didn't he hit it? Like, what is he seeing that I'm not seeing? Or that, what is he seeing that exactly. Like, why isn't he hitting that hole, especially when it looks like it's a monster hole?
And more design runs for Saquon. I mean, excuse me, for Jalen Hurts. You need to, I think, utilize the skill set that is there. I mean, you saw the 2 touchdowns. I mean, the touchdown that he had, he can exploit. Dallas is, even with Quinnen Williams there, they're still a terrible defense. So, I don't know.
That's why they're putting all the pressure on the quarterback. They're making the quarterback make mistakes, which is what happens, which is what a good defensive coordinator will do when he's got a bad defense. Is you start pressuring the quarterback. The quarterback will either beat you or he won't. And it's going to be a tough day if he's beating you. It's going to work really well if he doesn't. And what happened is that they started to, once the offensive line started to get a little nicked up, and you could tell they started to get a little beat up a bit by this by the defensive line, they lost the battles. And that's when the holding penalties started to come into play, and that's when the things started to happen. And it's like, okay, you get it. So now you gotta push. You got to push. Like, the play action runs used to be great. Now we don't even do them anymore. I haven't seen a play action run at all.
Because you're not running the ball effectively. It's the same thing the Lions do. They can't run the ball effectively. They ain't going to get that play action on. That's all there is to it.
Well, Pax, I want to ask you, does the absence...
See, this is that's a dumbass Cowboys fan. Has no idea what football is even all about. I'm actually explaining what the Cowboys did right, and you're being a dumbass. Donna, tell your husband to shut the hell up.
Sometimes you just got to wind that key.
That key was short, boy. Hey, I want to ask, do you think that the absence of Kellen Moore has anything to do with it as well?
No, I don't know that it's Kellen Moore. I think it's when you win a Super Bowl, your next offensive coordinator can't be somebody who is learning how to be an offensive coordinator. And that's part of the issue here, that the learning curve is longer for this guy for Kevin Petrullo than it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have this figured out by now, and the fact that he doesn't have it figured out, the fact that he thinks that defenses are dumb and that they don't know what plays you're going to call because they already know his trends, that's a problem. And that's because he's too young. It's like me playing Madden. Okay. If I'm playing Madden, I suck at Madden because I use the same 5 plays because those are the plays that I know the best. So ultimately, I keep going back to those plays because I have a 35% chance of actually completing it or having it go for something worthwhile. Well, the problem is anybody who knows how to play Madden knows exactly how to beat me, and they beat me easily. Same situation here.
I like that you play Madden like Major League 2, right? For the first 3 innings, eliminator, and then all of a sudden, all of those off-speed pitches are leaving the yard.
Yeah, exactly. So it's part of I feel like that they know enough about his trends, and the reason why they scored 21 points so quickly was because they now stack 20 to 25 plays. Instead of a 15 play script, they have 20 to 25 play script. Well, the problem is that they should rerun the script. When the first 25 plays worked, rerun the same 25 plays as you just did. Let them figure out that you're running the same 25 plays. By the time they figured it out, you should have scored another touchdown. I mean, realistically, they should have scored more points than they did. The field goal, missing the field goal hurt, obviously, but they missed the field goal too. And that guy don't ever miss. So I can't blame that either. You know what I mean? It's just like there are too many mistakes, just too many mistakes. There was no reason for them to lose that game, and they gave it away and lost it.
I guess the next big question is there a reason to panic at this juncture?
No. I think panic is what the media is doing for us. And it's like somebody said this the other day, and it made a little bit of sense to me on why you're hearing so much drama. I don't believe the drama. I really don't believe it. I feel like that there are certain things that are occurring that is making this drama happen. And that's then the guy was saying, oh, that the Hard Knocks for the season is in the NFC East. So it could be them pushing certain narratives because you have cameras there that need to create some drama to be able to help feed the story some. So
Well,
I mean that actually sounds like a realistic thing.
That's all well and good, but you guys had drama long before those cameras were arriving.
Well, we did, and then we won a Super Bowl.
No, I mean just this year.
No, I'm talking about those cameras have been there all season long.
I got you.
So that last commenter, it must be a Dallas fan. He said our terrible defense shut the Eagles down. Maybe the Eagles shut themselves down, sir. I would imagine that if you're someone who's putting up 21 points, and don't kid yourself, that defense has been terrible for a long time. So it's real.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, they have a really big test this Thursday. So as good of a you better hope, Joe, that this wasn't their Super Bowl, that they spent all of their energy coming back in this game because if they beat Kansas City, they could propel. I think that they could possibly make the playoffs. If they lose to Kansas City, I suspect that this season's a wash then, that they're not going to come back because the only team that they've beaten with the winning record this year has been the Eagles. And that says a lot.
And at the end of the day, it was a divisional game. They're always close. I mean,
I called the score. Somebody asked me, I said it's going to be 24-21. I just hope it's not a 70-yard field goal for you guys to win it. So I mean, it's literally it wasn't a 75-yarder, it was a 42-yarder, but either way. It's ultimately, I knew it was going to be a tough game. I look at it as, and I said it all last week too. I didn't say that we were going to kill Dallas. I said that it was going to be a tough game all the way around. And the fact that we scored 21 points was just a ruse. You know what I mean? You needed to put your foot on the gas and knock them out, and they took their foot off the gas. And when you take your foot off the gas, it's hard to put it back on there again.
Well, and that's what I attribute to the offensive coordinator. You got to keep that foot on the gate. Like you said, just keep running the plays that are working for you until you figure it out. And by that time, you'll have like a 28, 35-point lead. So at that point, you don't have to worry about it anymore. That's the thing I've been seeing reoccurring with Philadelphia. Yeah, they've been winning their games, but their offense has been looking horrible because I think the offensive coordinator he's not Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore was out there just balling with you guys last year. And Saquon he had his great season. I mean, night and day right there. So,
but our offensive line was in better shape last year. I mean, like I said, they have been nicked up all year long. And when you're nicked up, you don't get the same amount of push. Also, somebody said this the other day. I mean, we've got this guy Steen in there who's definitely not Mekhi Becton. And losing Mekhi Becton for $5 million a year is a monster loss. Monster loss. He was just a beast on the field, and this guy Steen is not a beast. So again, it's like you have somebody up here, and then you have somebody down here, and their difference is tremendous when you're talking about everybody in between being better. Because if you're a little bit better on the defensive side, you're going to get through. You're going to do that. And Steen hasn't been able to pick up the slack yet.
See, that just makes me think of the offensive line for Seattle. You know that meme where it's like the three dragon heads and one of them's kind of special, right?
Right.
Like cross-eyed and goofy. That is our offensive line. We got like dudes and then Bradford. And you're just like,
why?
So,
I have no empathy for neither one of you guys. As for all you people out there who don't know me, I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, and we got like 3 first-round draft picks on the offensive line. We had 4. We got rid of one and sent them to Los Angeles Chargers. But we got a guy named Cesar Ruiz who's a terrible, absolutely terrible right guard. And in New Orleans, his name has changed from Cesar Ruiz to Caesar Salad because he gets tossed up all over the place. I mean, he is terrible, man. God awful. You guys are winning and you're doing well. I mean, you have first world problems. We got third world problems down there in New Orleans. So.
Yeah, but so my question for you is that with Kellen Moore there,
yes,
what are your thoughts about the way he's coaching?
I think he's looking like a rookie head coach, and that's the thing. Sometimes he can dial up, and I think he can dial up some great plays. But on Sunday, there was a play when Taysom Hill is 4th and goal. To me, you got a rookie quarterback that's getting you down there, and you're at the goal line. Give him the ball. Put it in his hands to try to win or lose. Don't give it to Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill's the guy. He's the gadget guy. But everybody knows what's going on with the situation. Everybody knows that Taysom's going to get the ball. And then you put him in a situation where he has to throw the ball, and everybody, almost the whole defense of the Falcons knew what was going to happen. So there was no way he could get the ball to him. So that was on 4th down. And you take points away. You don't even put 3 on the board. So I think it's kind of, to answer your question, he's been good in some ways. And he's been a rookie in some ways, just like a rookie player out there. And I think it shows that he's a rookie head coach. But he's shown some real magic out there with what he's had. And so I think it's just going to be time. Time will tell how well he does. And I think add more pieces to the chessboard, because I think right now we're just stragglers. A lot of bums out there, and plumbers and electricians are out there. So.
Well, and that's exactly my thought, that you need to give him at least 3 years, 3 full years, to then, like, the fact that he's acting like a rookie head coach right now is amazing. That's awesome. because this is the time for him to act like a rookie head coach because your team sucks balls. You know what I mean? Like, so any
Wow.
win that he gets is due to his coaching. It's not due to anything else. You already know that, hey, listen, there has been mistakes made in previous years that I have inherited. So I'm going to make some of these mistakes now, but I'm also going to be ready. Like you got to learn your division because that's where you got to start to win. And then you got to start to put together how to win close games. And then, so it's like, it's a 3-year process. This year, you learn your division. That's what you do. Next year, you then try to push for them to win those 1-score games. And then that 3rd year, you're supposed to put it all together. This is a learning curve across the board. And hey, he helped us win a Super Bowl. I liked him a lot better than the guy who went to Arizona, our defensive coordinator who went to Arizona. You know, I think he's going to be fine down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I knew that going in, and Mickey Loomis, the general manager, made a statement initially when his initial press conference came in. We're going to give him 5 years. That's what he said. We're going to give him all the time he needs, and we're going to give him all the assets that we can pour into him because they believe in Kellen Moore, and I believe in Kellen Moore. I just think right now, and some of the fans, I'll be honest with you, some of the panels I read, I think people are more emotional. They're saying get rid of him. He's not calling good play calls. I disagree with that. I think, again, you have to look at the whole situation from a broad perspective. He inherited, like you said, a really bad team, bad general managing at the same time too. They're not going to get rid of Loomis for whatever reason. I don't know. He obviously won a Super Bowl with Sean Payton, but I think Sean Payton was more so showing that Sean Payton was more the culprit of them winning versus Mickey Loomis. But we'll see. I like Kellen Moore. I liked him when he was with the Eagles. I thought that was he called some great play calling there, and he did some great things in Dallas and decent things in when he was with San Diego at the time. But I really think that the future's bright with Kellen Moore as the head coach in New Orleans.
In the meantime, you just got to deal with the dreck, and that's part of it. At least everybody's on the same learning curve now.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Offensive lines matter, by
a
the
little
way.
bit about the game that was last night. It terrible football for 60 minutes. 5 turnovers and really could have been 3 more easily, 3 or 4 more. It's just a really ugly game. Not that I thought the Panthers were in any danger of winning going into that game, but you turn the ball over 3 times. And realistically could have been 5 times in the first half. That'll even give the Panthers a chance. Love you, Sonia, if you're watching. But and that's why I say, like, the Niners have just found ways to win. Because even when they're not playing particularly good football, they got half their team hurt, somehow they find a way. That makes them a dangerous team, right? It's they're winning, to Pag's point, in a coaching kind of way, instead of teams like the Broncos that I don't trust because they don't play football for 45 of the 60 minutes and then decide the offense wants to show up in the last 15. That will ultimately get you burned. But a team that's just well coached and digs out ugly wins, I'll take an ugly win.
Well, and like I said, I may have even said this off air, that CMC being healthy is the biggest reason on why they're winning games. I mean, quite literally, he has been the star on that team, and everybody else is kind of following suit. The one thing that I will say, when you have a whole bunch of guys hurt and they stick around, those guys are on the sidelines. They are coaching up the players that are filling in for them. That by doing that, you're teaching and you're becoming like a field general. And when you have a couple of field generals along with a coach who actually knows how to coach his team, you're winning games. So the fact that it's the next man up is irrelevant because it's almost like the guy who's the pro who's out is got a joystick. So he's kind of telling him and teaching them in the moment. And like I said, when you coach up guys, when you overcoach guys, they start doing what you say.
Yep.
And that's what's happening across the board, that they are winning games. You know, is it sustainable? I think that'll happen in the playoffs. You'll find that as you get closer and closer. Will it work the same?
Mm-hmm.
You
Well,
know?
my question for that is, considering Brock Purdy's back and he threw 3 interceptions and he hasn't looked better than Mac Jones, should Mac Jones be the starter versus Brock Purdy?
I mean, there's a contract that says no because Jones hasn't looked enough better to make that swap. If it was a huge step forward, absolutely, you're going to go with who's going to win you games. But if the production is relatively similar, yeah, Purdy looked bad, but he also hasn't played in a minute, right? So you're going to have some rust regardless. But Mac Jones didn't like wildly outplay him, right? So at that point, you're going to look at, we're paying this guy an insane amount of money. It's the same production either way. We're going to put our high price guy out there.
Fair enough.
Now, if the guy behind him, if Mac Jones was just balling out, then you end up with a situation like we had in Seattle where we started Russell Wilson ahead of Matt Flynn that we had just given a ton of money because he had one game where he threw 7 touchdowns. Like,
Don't remind me.
Hey, that one game got him
Get him a
$17
payday
million guaranteed. So, like, I'm not mad at it.
Well, I mean, he ain't mad at it. That's for sure. I would, if I was a Seattle fan, I'd be kind of mad at it. Off
Why?
of one game, come on.
Nah, but think about it. It didn't matter because you were paying a rookie that wasn't a first round pick. So it's not like you gave him big money. So
Now he's an LSU podcaster, Matt Flynn, down in Louisiana.
People do drag him for it, and he's like, "It was great." Like,
I guess, yeah, for him. Yeah.
Good stuff. That does get us to the halfway point. Might as well do this. If you are into sports betting, you can do it right alongside us here on Coast to Coast using the QR code on the screen. Up to 125% of your first 3 deposits, 10% bet guarantee, in case you listen to us. And of course, if you are in the Pacific Northwest, you can use a QR code here. Free 5-day pass, any of the 3 True Fusion gym locations, Bellevue, Ballard, University Village. And Ballard is getting Pilates Reformer Studios coming soon. So if you are a Pilates fanatic, they have a new studio coming, and find your edge, True Fusion Gym. All right, there we go. Okay, so on the Niners note still, we have Ayuk's contract. And this was Shanahan when he was asked about it.
A lot of things get a contract voided. I didn't even know. Honestly, I've never dealt with that in my career. I've been in any building that's had that, so it was unusual. But that's stuff that I can't get into right now.
So, I mean, obviously Lynch would have been the guy you should ask about that. Not that he's going to tell you either. But that is a huge contract to just not participate in. Like if somebody's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you $30+ million a year if you just like show up. You know what I'm doing? I'm driving my happy ass there. Like, be like, hey, this meeting is like $10,000 a minute. Yeah, I don't know. Like he looks like he's trying to force his way out. What's wild about it is it's not just voiding the guarantee for this year. It potentially unravels his deal in general. So, you know, now there's speculation he's taken his last snap as a Niner in general, which is crazy.
Is it more of a mental health issue or physical health issue? Because my question is, it doesn't make sense to leave a team that's winning. I mean, you have an excellent, to me, from the outside looking in, you have an excellent coaching staff. You got both, I mean, on defense and offensive side. And you have opportunities to get back out there and play for a team or organization that's competing. They're not only competing, but they're winning. And I don't get it. It has to be something else going on because I heard one of the players say, "Hey, we keep in contact with him. He's been that type of guy when something that was a red flag to me was that he said he's sort of a loner. He's a bit of a loner, so we don't know everything that's going on. I mean, that to me that's a bit of a red flag. So I'm wondering if there's some mental health issues there going on to where you're not showing up to your meetings, like you said. If you're making this amount of money and they just need you to show up and come to the meetings, and you're not showing up, what's going on? Because I'm not gonna let you take my money. I mean, I'm gonna make you fight for that money. I'm gonna take that back. And keep the money because I earned it. I got to that contract. So why would I let that go? What's the issue there? That's my question.
Yeah,
didn't he ask for a trade though? Didn't he ask for a trade earlier in the year?
He did. He asked for a trade. He asked for a trade before he signed the contract.
Correct.
And then once he signed the contract, it's like, how do you trade him after that? You can't really. I don't know that it's mental health. So the fact that he's a loner is one thing. I reading between some of these lines, thinking about some of this stuff, and knowing who the general manager is over there. There's a piece of me that believes that, you know what, that general manager said something to him that pissed him off, and it don't matter how much money. That's what I think occurred. There's something that that Lynch called him out on something he didn't want to be called out on, and he's taking it to his grave. End of story.
That's where I'd be on the other side of that, though. I'd be like, hey, you know what? I'm not playing, and I'm taking every guaranteed dollar just to stick it to your team because you can't go get someone else. You don't have the cap space. So, like, I would be doing it the other way. Like, if you're playing the petty game, you snag every dollar possible.
Right. I'm there too.
We're assuming too that he wants to be let go of the team, but does he really want to go play football?
Well, he can't anyway.
Thought about that. No, I'm just saying. I mean, even if they do release him from this contract and he has that opportunity to go play football, is he really into playing football anymore? It sounds to me like he's just not into playing football. I mean, you're giving away your money, you're getting away from a successful team. I mean,
that's why I ask about mental health, because it doesn't make any sense to give your money away, much money away.
Well,
I go to the meetings at least.
That's the thing, is you at least do that, right? Like, even if you didn't want to play, you have enough guaranteed money that you could just have soft tissue injuries that it's not going to show up on an x-ray anyway and just keep you sidelined, right? Mm-hmm. You just be like, oh yeah, this injury is holding me out. This hamstring is just never getting better. Like, yeah, I don't know. Giving away $100 million plus contract is crazy to me. Like, that is crazy work.
Maybe there's something off the field too that we don't know that they can't get into yet. That may have voided his guarantees as well, because it doesn't make any sense for them to take his next year's guarantees. That's something's odd there.
Well, what it does is it basically makes, as soon as you have something that voids part of your contract, it puts all of it in question, right? Anything that's like detrimental to the team or anything like that, all of a sudden the whole thing becomes a target. And so although what he was doing directly affects his guarantees for this year, it sort of falls into that same realm where they can be like, look, you're not doing your part, which is detrimental to the team. And so there's some verbiage that's usually in there that as soon as you create an issue with part of your contract, all of it becomes, subject to renegotiation.
Yeah, this is a very odd thing. It's very odd.
You know what? I just think that there's, these younger kids today. Is it all about the money? Is it all about the prestige? I mean, the fact that he's a loner in general, and
but avocado toast is expensive.
To each their own. So
I mean, for me, I'm taking the money. Like, I'm showing up.
Same.
He's already got a lot. He's already got a lot of money.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the 30 million that he was going to get for literally doing nothing. He has to show up and be like, yeah, y'all should fix that. I can't help, but
which he earned. He earned that to get to that point. I don't put that into the perspective.
I don't know.
In the mind of Brandon Ayuk.
I mean,
Correct.
to be fair, most people that watch this show would be showing up for $30 an hour. let alone 30 million. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and
that being said,
he can cut ties and it's cool for him. I don't know. I'm not leaving that kind of money on the table. It's hard to make that up on the back end because your next team isn't going to trust you fully anyway. Even if they do have that mentality of we can fix him and all of that, they're still in the back of their mind and be like, let's make this like a 1 year prove it deal kind of thing. And then on top of it, this hurts any kind of, now he probably doesn't want a broadcast career if he's a loner, right? Probably doesn't want that kind of action, but it does change some of the opportunities you get on the back end if you do stuff like this, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not just the short term, it cost me 30 million this year. Like this could be costing you millions of dollars per year for years. So I don't know. Again, just weird to leave money on the table. NFL careers are short anyway.
And this may be his biggest contract, his peak moment. Mm-hmm. That's it. It may be downhill from there, like you said, even if he is healthy. But who's going to trust him now, considering all this is going on?
Somebody.
Work for pizza. I'm with it. I'm with it. I do love me some pizza.
Hey, how about, I'm going to preface this. I'm going to change. How about Stefanski giving the big thank you, Shedeur? Good work out of you over there.
You saw that? You saw that.
That was the weakest praise. Like, there was more praise for everyone else. Stefanski doesn't like the kid, like straight up.
It's obvious.
It wasn't his guy.
I mean, it's not. It's not his guy. But at the same time, and of course, this was where we were going to have the conversation go anyway, because we had a little chat about it this morning. But yeah, I mean, Stefanski doesn't show a lot of faith in him. And of course, it's Shedeur. So there's crazy hype to either side, right? Like there seems to be no middle ground of like just decent journalism for this. It's either he's trash and he's never going to be anything, or it's he won a game with really a very average stat line. He's going to be the MVP. I mean, like, can we just understand that he's a rookie? He had an okay game against a really bad team. Let's let him play a couple of games and see what he can do. Because there's issues with his game, right? Like, and it's not like they're new issues. He had the same problem in college. He doesn't like to step into the pocket. He likes to bail out the back, gets him in trouble, gets sacked a lot. He holds onto the ball too long, but he is very accurate. He reads a defense well. So I mean, like, there's things to like and there's things not to like, but for whatever reason, the way that his branding has worked out, it's either he's the worst thing to ever happen to football, or it's oh my God, it's the best that anyone's ever played the sport. It's like, can we calm down and just understand he's a rookie and he's okay? Like, he's not doing anything special, but he's not horrendous.
I think this more falls on Stefanski too, because Stefanski is just Stefanski's not going to be with the Browns next season. I just don't see it because it's too awkward already. You got the owner who picked, and I don't care what he says, picked Shedeur, and that wasn't because Shedeur was a good player. It's because it was given a market value. Because he was trying to do the Jerry Jones thing with Shedeur. Now that's his pick, and he's got to stick with it, and Stefanski's putting his foot down, saying, nope, we're going to play this guy. We're not playing Shedeur ever unless that guy gets injured, and that's going to be an if. You know what I'm saying? So, and now he's got to play him, and he's not giving him any accolades. Little small
legendary.
Accolades.
Well, and so here's the thing, and this is what feeds into some of the hate that he gets.
practice, you know what I mean? This 1 week of practice. So imagine, what a full offseason look like. It get dangerous. But it's just a 1 week of practice, so I'm just truly thankful.
So he had 50% throwing, had an 87 QBR, a touchdown, and a pick for 200 yards. Like, there's nothing legendary about that stat line. So we can calm down. Like, he had an okay day against a really bad Raiders team. So let's see how he looks against the Niners. Good thing for him. Both of their main pass rushers are on IR, done for the year. So that'll give him some of that time because he does hold on to the ball a little too long. So that being said, like, let's see what he can be. I don't think he's the dark horse MVP after a average game against a bad team, but I don't think he's trash either. Like, it's okay to just be okay as a rookie.
Look, I'll say this: he again played an average game, but in that average stat line, you saw great moments. You saw moments that you didn't see in Flacco or you didn't see in Dylan Gabriel this all season. And when they showed the split screen of him throwing that deep pass to Isaiah, what's the guy's name? Bond, and it was just a rollout. It was beautiful. It was just a beautiful throw. And you watch at the bottom half of that screen, you watch Myles Garrett. He was in awe. He was in awe. And so clearly you can see that he has the confidence of his teammates, the voter confidence of his teammates. And I think that there is something to work with. But at the same time, he showed that I believe that he should belong. And I agree with you. It was the Raiders, albeit it was the Raiders, and you had a team that gave up 10 sacks. But you having a guy, I'm not going to just say it's just the Raiders because Myles Garrett is just on a tear, and he's probably going to break the record for the all-time season sack record of. And so he's had 15. He's had 15 sacks, I think, in the past 3 games. Yeah, 15 sacks.
Well, and so that's the thing is when you look at his stat line, right? They're giving Shedeur all the credit for winning. They had 10 sacks against the Raiders, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody's talking about the fact that the defense was destroying the Raiders the whole day. They're like, oh, Shedeur was amazing. It's like it's an average stat line with elite defensive play. So let's just pump the brakes. Like, two things.
I agree.
Can have a good day, but it can also be heavily aided by a defense that was getting after the Raiders.
Well, let's flip the field. You got Max Crosby on the other side. They only got 1 sack. So at least you can say that he didn't revert to what he did in that first game against Baltimore's defense, where he was running back and giving up 15-yard sack, negative 15-yard sacks. And I think he's going to revert probably when he play against the 49ers a little bit. But also I think that you give him, again, more time with the first-team reps. You're going to see a little bit more because this is a guy, again, the things you saw in college, he still threw for over 4,800 yards, 44 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. As average as he may be or not, that's still nothing to sneeze at. And I think that he can progress and improve in the league as long as he has a team around him. And so
the thing is, I think he can be a good quarterback in the league. Like I don't think he's going to be the number 1 guy or anything like that. I think he can be an effective quarterback in the league. Mm-hmm. I don't know that he can do that for the Browns because the Browns are, well,
nobody can do it for the Browns,
right? I mean, there's a reason they have the same amount of quarterbacks since '99 as our country has had presidents since its inception, right? So, I mean, it's not great. Do I think that both of the quarterbacks there move on from the Browns and can do something? Sure. Why not? A bunch of other quarterbacks have. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think either one of them are really being set up for success there.
Yeah.
And anyways, I would want to play him. Yeah, I'd want to play him just to get, the extra pick. Like that, you'd be able to trade him away.
Yeah.
And get like a 4th round pick for him, 3rd round pick.
And again, that depends on what management does at the end of the seasons at Cleveland. I mean, if they get rid of Stefanski, I can guarantee you the GM's going to hire, I mean, not the GM, well, the GM too, but the owner's going to hire a coach that's going to work with Shedeur. And that might be a bad thing for Gabriel.
Well, let's speak about this from a business perspective. let's just say he does begin to succeed and show some level of progress, maybe 2 touchdowns here, 3 touchdowns there, 200, 300 yards. If he's still showing that, the seats are filled. We're talking about, I mean, he's already, his name behind his name is already there. So that's a reason that I'll guarantee you when Stefanski immediately said he was non-committal about who's going to be the starting quarterback, but the next day you're naming him the quarterback, that usually doesn't happen. It usually happens maybe about 3 or 4 days into the situation. That's ownership. Ownership saying, no, make him the starter now. He got forced into that. And so we'll see if he succeeds, the money is going to be there. The branding, merchandising, all that's going to just go through the roof.
Yeah, and that'll definitely be a telltale sign for Stefanski to be gone. He'll definitely be gone after that, especially if he succeeds like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, honestly, for Gabriel, it probably would be beneficial if he got traded. He would probably go to a better situation. I mean, realistically, you could say that for everyone in that organization, but
right, it is the Browns.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think both those quarterbacks would probably do a lot better in a different situation. I don't think either one of them are going to save them, but you're right. From a business standpoint, absolutely. You want the branding that Shedeur brings, right? Because it gets people in the stands. They want to see him play, at least for now. If he struggles, it'll be a whole different thing. Well, actually, people still show up, though, because they'll want to see him struggle, right? Because you either love him or hate him. There's no middle ground of like, hey, let's see if this kid can succeed. Like,
well, I do have a question for everybody, or you two guys. This is your show. We talked about the 2 quarterbacks that are there, the rookies. What about the guy that was on the sideline talking to Shedeur and Deshaun Watson? What's going to happen to him? I mean, that's the elephant in the room that really no one's talking about. That big contract, still got a lot of money there. What's going to happen with him?
So they did restructure his deal. So they extended it, and it makes it so that the per year hit is way less. So after this season, even though they're going to take hits over the next 4 years after that, they can essentially get rid of him because they have 2 rookie contracts at quarterback. So they can essentially just absorb what they're going to have to pay him because of the rookie deals that they have. And they can essentially just kind of move on from him if they want.
Which I'll probably do.
I would fully imagine. It's been a long time since he played meaningful football, right? I mean, he hasn't played good football in Cleveland yet. He's had a couple of games that were decent, but mostly kind of underwhelming, been hurt every year. And I mean, he hasn't had a good season since the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 years ago.
And the ownership, Haslam said, we missed on that. So he actually came out and said that. It's not
really?
No, that's why they restructured the deal, though, is because now they're on the hook for like 25 mil a year or something like that. So they can 25, 30, something like that. So they can eat that with the quarterback rookie deals, especially because neither one of their quarterbacks were first rounders, right? You had a third and a fifth. They're both relatively cheap when it comes to NFL contracts in general. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, because of the way they restructured, yeah, they can get him out of the room if they want to.
Him and Ayuk wind up on the Saints. That's funny.
No, sir.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
They're not going to pay him. The thing is Ayuk's going to want money from wherever his next stop is. And if I'm,
he can't demand it though. He can't demand it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is if I'm a GM and he's like, I want all this money. It's like, yeah, you do. Cool. Hope you find it, man.
I mean, that's the reason why I feel, just to go back to Ayuk for a second, is that does he have any for playing football anymore? Because you got to know what you're getting yourself into when you do stuff like that. I hope so. Because you're not going to go anywhere and get a big contract because everybody's going to be laughing in your face for it. You didn't play football for a whole year and a half or whatever it is, and then you get rid of most of your contract money to another organization, and now you want to come here and get all kinds of. No, it don't work that way, bro. Don't work that way.
I don't know. I disagree with that. I think that there's going to be a football team that's going to pay him.
Cleveland?
No, and I think it's going to be. Yeah, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Arizona or Seattle that does it.
We won't pay him.
When you say pay him, you mean like second wide receiver money or second tier?
No, I think they're going to pay him. I bet you he gets $100 million contract.
Coming out the gate after this debacle?
No
Yep.
way.
No.
Yep.
I disagree with that.
We'll get back. We'll get back to it as we think. I think that because he's doing it the way he's doing it.
Yeah.
Listen, if he was going in and just stealing the money, different scenario. I think there you're starting to be a cancer. He's not being a cancer to this team. And that's the bigger deal. I think the fact that he's removed himself from the situation says, listen, I did not want to play here. They gave me money. It was hard for me to say no. When all is said and done, it didn't change. I did not want to play here. I chose to not disrupt. I chose not to steal. I chose to get myself out of the situation. And now I want to be I just want to be in a situation I'm happy. My happiness is beyond anything else. It's not about money. It's not about trying to disrupt the franchise. I want to play football and I want to make money and I want to be happy. End of story. If he comes out with that type of mentality and that type of message, how do you not give that guy $100 million contract?
I don't know. I think we've all suffered through some toxic work environments because we're like, hey, you know what? We're going to get this money. We're going to do what we're supposed to do. And then as soon as the
changes the scenario, though, changes the scenario.
Sure.
That means you stole money, which means that you're probably not going to get that money. Also means that they could just keep him there. By doing this, he gets himself out.
He does get himself out. There is that. If he gets another big contract, it will be one of those, say it's $100 million, but the second, like it'll be a 3-year $100 million, second 2 years are voidable, right? With fairly minimal, like $30 million will be guaranteed. And then they're going to be like, look, we want to make sure that you're going to play, right? Like that'll be the best case scenario for him. And that's if somebody does it. And it's probably still going to be for a middling or worse team.
So I think that this is my in my honest opinion, he gets, if he's not with San Francisco next season, he gets a 1-year deal, prove it deal. If he balls out, then I agree with you, Pags. I think he gets another $100 million contract after he proved it in that first year.
I guess we'll come back to this next year.
Yes, sir.
The moment that I do this, I'm going to dance a little jig in this living room right here and say, everybody tell me I was right. Because I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a team that's going to pay him the money.
If that happens, I'll dance the jig with you. We can both get down on the floor.
But we're going to say that after you dance the jig, though. So you got to dance the jig.
Yeah, no. You definitely got to dance a jig. And of course,
then we'll reap our praises upon you.
The only time I even hear that phrase is Die Hard, which is a Christmas movie. That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. We appreciate everybody watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate both of you guys joining us this morning, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.